Hey, what's up, guys? Luke Prophet. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about VPSs and what they are. A lot of people, more techie people will know this already, and less techie people, maybe not so much. But a VPS stands for Virtual Private Server, and that is basically a computer that is, it's a real computer that is located somewhere, in the world, and you basically can connect to it and remote control it. Let me just kind of explain this a little bit. Normally, right, you've got the internet, whatever it is you're trying to load, right? This circle is the internet. And then you've got your computer here. And then when you want to load this whatever it is on the internet, eBay or whatever, when you're trying to get something on the internet, you got your computer and you want to get to this. So you've got your internet provider, and basically you just, you say, hey, I want this information, and then they send it back to you, right? So that's how it normally works. But the way that you can use a VPS and the awesome flexibility that it gives you is basically you can say, okay, well, here is the information that you're trying to get to, the internet again. Here is your VPS. Should scoot that over a little bit so I've got room to draw. Oh, my smartwatch is talking to me. Okay. Yeah, so you've got the internet, and then you've got your VPS, and then this can be you, it can be your computer, your phone, whatever. So basically, you connect through whatever internet to your VPS, and then your VPS connects to whatever it is that you're trying to load, and sends it back to you, and then whenever you're connected to the VPS, it sends it back again. So this might seem kind of pointless and like it just added a little step here, but the cool thing is, this is a computer, this VPS is a computer that is always on, and you can have it doing whatever, even if you're not connected to it. So you can sign in here from your computer, from your phone, whatever, connect to this computer and say, hey, do this, or, go on eBay, whatever. And then that can connect and be working and be getting information. But then you can take yourself, you can go offline and let this stay up and working. Or, the other cool thing is, it doesn't have to be just you who's connecting to it. You could have your virtual assistant, have a couple of them here. You can have all these virtual assistants, and then yourself on your computer and on your phone. And you can only have one person connected at a time. I'm going to use a line here because the error thing will freak out. But, this is you, and you can be connected to the VPS, and this is all one computer, same desktop, looks the same for everybody. You can connect here, and then you can disconnect, and then your virtual assistant can connect, and they can disconnect, and then this other virtual assistant can connect, and then they can disconnect, but this computer stays the same, just like it was a physical computer that they were accessing. So instead of having one physical computer that's sitting in an office, normally if you wanted everybody to be able to use the same computer, you'd have to have that one computer sitting in the office, and, everybody comes in to use the computer. This just lets your computer or your phone or whatever connect to the VPS and then use it. So this is, I know, a beautiful drawing here, but just to show you, for example, I've got right here, I don't know if you can see it, but this is Chrome here open. It's a copy of eBay, and you see I'm moving the mouse right there. I don't know, you probably can't see. I've got a copy of Chrome here open on my phone because I'm connected to the VPS, and then this is eBay. It's too bright for you to see, but yeah, so I've got a full, computer here that I can connect to and use on my phone as a normal computer from anywhere in the world. Anywhere I have internet, I can just click a button, I'm connected to this computer, and I can do whatever, use my phone like a full normal computer. So this really gives you travel, flexibility, and stuff. Also, if you need to leave something running, and I guess this probably doesn't so much apply for eBay dropshipping other than, like letting your virtual assistants use it to get better load times and stuff. But, you can, if you needed to leave something running on a computer, but you can't leave your computer up the whole time, then you can use a VPS, start whatever it is, close it down on your phone, but the VPS is still doing whatever you told it to, and you can pull it back up and check later. So you can basically set it up so that there's an icon you can just double-click on your computer, and it will launch this other computer, and you'll be logged into it. You can only have one person logged in at a time, like I said, but the way that I work it is I just have one VPS, and my virtual assistants all log in at different times. So I just have, one person use it for a bit, then they log out, and the next person uses it, they log out, the next person uses it. And another cool thing is people in third world countries have much slower internet, and when you're using a VPS, obviously the connection is going to be based on the speed of the VPS's connection. So, like, for example, say you've got a big file that you're trying to download or something. This is just, to explain. If the person, your virtual assistant connection is only like 1 megabit per second, then it's going to take a long time for them to download that file. But if they're using a VPS and the VPS has a really good internet connection, which most VPSs do, then you could just download the file to your VPS. And when the virtual assistant is connected to the VPS, they aren't using, they wouldn't have to download the entire file. They're remote, they're seeing the screen basically. And, there might be like a little bit of lag or something, but this can really help, like, if you're doing a bunch of research or something like that, the load times for pictures and stuff can take a long time on if they're doing it on their own internet connection, because, every time you're visiting the site, it essentially has to go to the site, grab all the pieces, and then put it together on your end. And if those pictures are kind of big, then, it can take a while. Whereas with a VPS, all of that work is happening on the VPS, quickly because the internet's fast, and then they're just sort of seeing like a screen capture of it. So it's, I know that might be kind of hard to understand for like less techie people, but I'm trying to explain it really, really simply. How you can have like a really high quality image, or you can have a low quality image. So you could have a picture that's 20 megabytes, or you could have a picture that's half a megabyte, and it looks the same, but just one has a little more quality and stuff. It's kind of like that, where the website might be trying to load these higher quality pictures that take a while to load. But if you can just view the screen capture screen capture through the VPS, then the VPS is doing the heavy lifting of downloading all those, files temporarily so that you can see them on your screen. But then when you're connected to it, you're just, your virtual assistant is just seeing sort of what is being shown on that screen, which uses a lot less bandwidth, basically. So essentially, instead of having to have the virtual assistant wait for pages to load on their connection, they can have the connection, a fast connection, and have the pages load really quickly on the VPS, and then on their connection, they're just viewing what their VPS is seeing, which loads much faster. So hopefully that explains it and isn't too roundabout of an explanation. I'm trying to keep it simple for the less techie people, because more techie people are going to already know this kind of stuff. So yeah, the cool thing, the great part is, well, actually, I guess I should mention one other thing. It's awesome having a computer that you can use anytime, anywhere from your phone or any other computer you have access to. You just punch in the info, essentially the IP address, the port, and your login information, basically, to get to this computer, and then you're connected, and whatever computer or phone or device, whatever you're using, then essentially becomes that VPS computer, as long as you're connected to it. So it's very useful. Also, you can just copy and paste stuff. So, say you're working on your laptop and you've got a file, you just copy it, sort of minimize the VPS window and put it to the side, copy it, and then paste into the VPS. And everybody can do that, can just copy and paste from whatever they're working on into the VPS. So it's really nice and easy. And really cool. And so another thing is where your VPS is based. So I don't know how much you know, but everybody has an IP address, which is kind of, think of it like the physical address, like that you live at, right? So your house has an address, and people can use it to mail a package to you, right? Well, connections are kind of, work similarly, where every network has its own IP address. And it's not quite as detailed as an actual like mailing address, but you can tell where an IP address is located generally and stuff like that. So if you're trying to get around things and stuff, you can use this to sort of bypass some stuff. So for example, say your virtual assistant me just clear this out so I can doodle again. Your virtual assistant is located in the Philippines or wherever, and for some reason when they try to go to Amazon, you know, or whatever, you know, whatever website, it's giving you problems because it's showing them the Filipino version of the site and not the normal version. Well, what you can do is that's probably happening because their you know, all their settings and stuff are and IP address are Filipino, and the site detects that and so it shows them the Filipino version of the site. But if you want them to see the American version of the site, now usually there's a way to configure it on their end, but you know, an easy way is just get a US VPS, because if you have this computer that's located in the United States, they connect to that computer, and then they're using a computer that's in the United States, so everything's going to show up like this is a US address. And another thing that this can be useful for is, for example, if you do like get banned by eBay or something like that, and then you know, your account's been suspended, they're going to mark your IP address and sort of all your information. And if you try to make a new account, they're just going to say, aha, that's the same IP address. This dude's trying to make a new account. But a way around that is getting a new IP address and using all new information, basically. And I'll go into that later in like a different section. But think of the new IP address as like a new computer identity. So basically, you know, this address is somewhere in, say, California, and maybe you live in New York, and you know, your New York address is banned or whatever. Then you could sort of get around that by using a California address, and then they're going to look at that and they're going to say, oh, this is a new person. They're not going to realize that it's you, that you're just connected through your New York IP address, you know, to the California one, and then the California one's that's doing all the communicating. They wouldn't know that unless you give them other information that just links it and makes it obvious that you're the same person. But that's how you can sort of hide your where you're coming from. You can also use this to get around like location kind of restrictions and things like that. This might be too much of an explanation here, but you know how you see everybody on YouTube and stuff being like, oh, you know, you gotta protect your internet, blah blah blah, with a VPN and blah blah blah. So a VPS is not a VPN because it's better than a VPN. A VPN just sort of is like a middleman that basically you're passing the data to and from. So it works kind of like this, but a VPS is actually a full computer. Now, you're not just passing stuff through it, you're actually logged into it and can see the desktop and stuff like that of this computer. So yeah, that's kind of what a VPS is. Hopefully that's a good explanation and you can see why it's useful. You know, it lets you access your you know, it lets you have one computer that's always on that you can access from your phone or any other computer, and you can only have one user on it at a time. But you can, you know, of course, just sort of stagger that so it doesn't cause any problems. So that's what a VPS is and why it's useful, and why it's been incredibly helpful for me with traveling around everywhere, you know, just being able to access stuff when I need to without having to have a big, you know, setup with me or anything.
Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. If you're new to dropshipping and you're trying to figure out how to get started, I've got a full free set of training videos down there, link in the description. It goes over everything you need to know about how to get started making money online. And the average person following my method makes around $500 to $800 profit per month after expenses for each 1,000-item eBay store that they have set up and running. They're really not that hard to get started. If you've got any questions about anything dropshipping related, feel free to hit me up on Facebook. I'll put a link down there, as well as a link to a group that I started with hundreds of other dropshippers that you can join. I post new content on this channel every couple days, so go ahead and subscribe and click the notifications, and I'll see you back here with another video in a couple days.